Hey guys, welcome back and welcome back to Cottingley Revisited. It's exactly 144 on the clock, which is my number. I am on path. The video is one that I'm going to be doing. So this is Cottingley Revisited. If you saw, I put two videos out before. One of them I just did, it was going over the whole story of the Cottingley Fairies, all right, about the Cottingley Fairies, the biggest photographic hoax of the 20th century, probably even the 21st century, where two young girls from the northern part of England managed to fool Sir Arthur Conan Doyle of Sherlock Holmes fame, as well as the whole world, into believing that they had taken photographs of fairies. They'd photographed fairies. Now, to our eyes in 2026, we can very clearly see that these are two-dimensional cardboard cutouts, and that is exactly what they were, because they had taken one of the oldest girl, Elsie, had taken the images that she saw from the Queen Mary's illustration book. She was a good artist and she traced and drew, coloured them in. They stuck hat pins in the ground and they took photos using their father's camera. Why did they do all this, you ask? Well, youngest girl Frances, who was nine at the time, Frances Griffith, actually had been telling her parents that she had been seeing little fairies, little gnomes in the woods and the area around where they lived for a while now. And of course, they just thought that they were the ramblings of a child. Nobody believed her. So when her older cousin concocted a let's basically prank our family into believing that we have actually got photographic evidence, she was on board. What they didn't anticipate is that it essentially was going to go viral. And viral it did. All the way up until the 1980s, where they finally admitted that it was a hoax, all right? There were 5 photographs taken in all. The 5th photograph is really where it all went down, to be honest, and stuff like that, because they both insisted that they had taken the 5th photograph. How can both people take the photograph at the same time? Elsie, who was 16, said that she took it, but Frances said, no, I took it. And Frances, the 9-year-old, said, I was bored one day and I thought I saw something in the grass. There was nothing with that she could see with her physical eyes, but she set up the camera, she took the photograph, and what we see in the 5th photograph, what you're seeing here right now, she said that's exactly what came out. There was no trickery, there were no cardboard cutouts, nothing. Hypotheses was put forward that perhaps the camera already contained some of the plates, because back in the day that they used to have like plates were put into the camera that contained photographs of the cardboard cutouts they had done. And perhaps when Frances came along and picked up the camera, she didn't realise the old plates were in there, therefore creating a form of a double exposure. That's a hypothesis. So they say with that in mind, it could be the case that Elsie could technically have taken it too. Now, where I come in here is that I'm saying, yeah, that could have been a thing. Maybe there is a little bit of double exposure, or there are elements of the fake one in there, because I do believe one of the images in there looks fake. But what I'm saying is that when I scan that photograph, I'm telling you right now, there are real beings in that picture. There are real elementals in that photograph. And if you watched the last video, you would have seen me get really confused, because I immediately thought that the 3 prominent figures that you see at the beginning were clearly supposed to be allegedly the hoaxes. But when I was reading it, apparently they only really spoke about the one on the far left and the far right, leaving the one in the middle as what? Apparently it was put forward that perhaps that Arthur Conan Doyle and Edward Gardner thought that perhaps that this was a cocoon, like an open chirylisis. Yeah, I've never seen an open chirylisis look like that. I've never seen an open chirylisis that has arms, a back and hair, because I personally could see a woman, even though she was very diaphanous herself and quite see-through. To me, there were 3 beings there. I feel the one on the far right wasn't real. For some reason, to me, it doesn't look real. I went through all of the arc of emotions in the one on the left, because I was like going from believing that wasn't real to really studying it, as you saw in the last video, and actually realizing, hang on a minute, here there is form to the face. She's got a very pointy ear, which you don't really, it isn't what we saw in the other photographs. There was no pattern continuation here. There was no continuity there. None of the cardboard cutouts, you could see their hair. It's not to say that they didn't draw fairies or pixies back then with pointy ears, but it didn't fit the pattern of what we were seeing previously in their photographs. I was like, Now in the photograph itself, like I'm saying, there are beings everywhere. I'm not even lying. Like this photograph, the more that I've studied it, the more I'm just like, oh my God, because this photograph is filled. Now you may think that, oh my God, it's just the double exposure. Some of you may be like, you're just talking shit. Maybe if that's what you think, that's fine. In my opinion, as somebody who, I do have what is considered second sight, meaning I do see these things. I find it I guess people say it's like a gift. I'm able to, particularly in photographs as well, I can really pull out what I'm seeing, and I do that in my videos, and I play around with saturation and light so that other people can see them. Why should I be the only one getting to see all of this? And it's crazy to me because this is an infamous hoax, and yes, the first 4 photos were fake, but the crazy thing is I actually believe, the funniest thing is that in this 5th final photograph, The Cottingley Fairies, there are actual elemental, air quotes, fairies in the final photograph, real ones. And to be honest, I don't think the world will ever know, because nobody's ever going to go back and believe that. So the few people watching this video, thank you. There are real elementals in that, and I explain the difference between elementals and fairies, but these are nature's elementals, little people. And without further ado, because I really went into it, let's look at more. I want to just show you a little bit more of the beings that I was seeing and a little bit more detail, because oh my, I found some. So let's start first with the one that I was like doing the sliding scale. Let's go through back to her again. Like, let's look at this particular picture. You can see the ear. Why is my phone dying now? It's literally on charge. Why is this new charge? Why is it not working? I literally bought this the other day. Brand new, and it's not working. I always find whenever I'm doing videos that have to do with like different frequencies, my technology just starts to fade. Like, so that's like one thing. But we can see here that like, I really thought that this was like a fake. And the more I look at it though, you can see that compared to the others, I don't know, there's just, it's not 100%, but you can see the hair actually looks quite hair, like hair. The ear, and again I explained that these beings are like 3rd/4th dimensional, all right, and this is why in these photographs they actually can look so layered, and this is why it's quite difficult to actually sometimes point all of them out, because it's an optical illusion. There can be a face here, and the face can share the eyes with another being, and you know, there's this, it can be upside down, it can be this, so you really have to isolate and train your eyes to focus on what you're focusing on, otherwise you get confused and lost. And what I love about that is Brian Froud, or Froud, who I'm going to be talking about a little bit in the video. He is someone who's captured fairies and who draws fairies, and I know like the way that he does it, he definitely is tapped in, and I mean he's probably seen them in the same way that I have as well, because even the way that he describes some of them, like the topsy-turvy beings, and even one of his books that I own, you read it from one way up, and then you turn the book upside down to read it the other way, and it very much mirrors what's happening here, because I even have one image here where I'm looking at it this way up, but when I flipped it, there was a whole nother being. Absolutely wild, right? So what do we think? Look at her, and she's got the beings in her hair, you can see there. All right, now I really want to go to the pixie. Let's go to what we call Madam Pixie number 2. Now this was actually, it seems to have been picked up by Gardner. You can see the words that he said here. They called it a pixie elf head, but they didn't really go further on it, okay? And it must have been this one, because what else could he have been talking about, in all honesty? There is nothing else. He missed the one next to it, but he saw this one because it's so clear. But I've zoomed in and got even better clarity photographs. You're going to want to see this. Even when I've done the fade out like this, you can see the features, all right? I did say at first that it's a bit like, because she does seem to possess like a pixie cut, a bob, but a very much one that's reminiscent of the short bobs that the 1920s flapper girl style was, that very blunt short bob. So that does make you think, well, could that be something they've made up? Because the final photograph was in fact taken in 1920, when perhaps maybe the style was about, or was the style even popular then? Wasn't it maybe in the course of the 1920s this bob came about? Maybe we borrowed the bob and the pixie cut from real pixies, but either way, we have that. But you can see there's a face here. Now, when I zoomed in, this is what I did. I found a very good quality picture and was able to zoom in and was like, hold the phone, y'all. You can't tell me shit. This is not an overlay. I don't believe it whatsoever, because this is not a plate either, because their images were not this clear. Look at this picture here. In fact, this is a good one. This is why I think this is fake, in my mind. Look how flat this one looks compared to the features of the other one. Very different quality. Now, when we zoom in on Mrs. here, we can see her eyeball, we can see her eyes, we can see the iris and the pupil. And may I say, when I'm doing this, she has the strangest shaped eyes. Like at first, the more I was like, oh yeah, it's normal. No, the eyes are incredibly interesting. They're very slanted, okay? They're almost a bit moon-like, if I can put it like that. But we've got very, very clear eye. We've got, the nose is a little bit non-distinct. The mouth is very clear. You can see the mouth. Her eyes are really interesting. I'm imagining that the eyes are, in fact, I showed my mum this because I always test them, like, can you see this? And she said they look quite Asian. But to me, I'm like, it's a moon shape. It's like a teardrop shape that starts here and goes out. Now, actually, my ex had eyes shaped like this, so I know it's a very interesting shape, and he's a very interesting character. But check the eyes. Look, Look at her eyeball, look at her eyes. Basically, I'm saying that the closer you look, even though that she looks like a little lady, it looks a little bit inhuman, is what I'm trying to say. The eyes, there's something about the eye. Look at the eyes. How is this attempt? This is not double exposure. There's no way this is double exposure in my mind. Is it for you? It's not for me. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And there's beings everywhere. Like, I'm trying to isolate it, but you can even see a face just over the top of, oh my God. I'm going to see if I can show that to you. If you can see that. There's so many, but this one here, just over the top of her shoulder. You see that? Sometimes it's actually easier. Look, if I block this out. Sometimes it's easier when you're far away, actually. Girl, that's clear. And the one next to her as well. The closer you look, the stranger the eye. This is like a whole moon-shaped eye. This eye is moon-shaped, and you will never be able to tell until you're right up close. From afar, very normal moon-shaped eye. Most definitely this eye here. It's so much better when you see it like this, because you can see that this is a person here. But the closer you get, the more non-human it looks. In the eyes would be very almost like high up like this, like going literally up there. And the reason why I say Brian Froud is on it is because the beings that he draws in his books, I'm going to be showing pictures here where you can see like the little beings that he draws, and there's a very clear resemblance. All right, so this is supposed to be just a quick video. So I've drawn around it so that you can sort of see a little bit more. So those are clearly two female beings there, like for sure. Now I hope you can see this one. This is very strange. To me, it's like looking like this. So you can see the eye looking like that. The nose is really strange. The nose reminds me of like a dragon, or like that thing from the Never-Ending Story. The way the nose sits on that thing, I'm going to try to put side-by-side picture, is what I'm seeing. And this is why I say Brian Froud, because he also did the drawings for Jim Henson, The Dark Crystal, The Labyrinth. Fun fact, his son was actually the one that played the little baby in The Labyrinth that Jennifer Connelly had to rescue. His wife looks so fey to me, like there's definitely stuff going on there. So the things that he draws, I feel it's not just whimsical drawing. I've thought this from the minute I came across his work. And obviously he's been drawing since the 70s. So I don't know whether he's outright said, yeah, I see these things, but he most definitely does, because I can tell you what I'm seeing in these pictures, and I know that maybe not everybody can see them the way that my eyes are seeing them, but bruh, my man is in there, he's on it. So this to me looks like a male, but it's kind of like, it feels like half creature, half fae. Like, it doesn't look, it's not human looking, but it looks like that. But there's so many beings around it, it's so hard. So if anybody's if I see more, I will make more in videos, but like, I'm only making a video showing the things that I'm seeing here that I can actually clearly show you. If you were with me here, it would be easier for me to point out, but I can only show the things that I feel have enough form that translate well over camera, otherwise it's too difficult for me. But I'm seeing more than I'm saying, so you might be looking at these pictures on screen and seeing more than I'm pointing out, and I'll be like, yeah. So we've got this lady here, which is making me laugh, because this is one penciled on eyebrow. I'm like, girl, you need to stop penciling this on. Like, we are in the 2020s. You can use like fine feather, like pomade or something. All right, no offense, girl, but this is the one we're going to be looking at here. You can see the eyebrow, right? This is the eyebrow, a very clear eyebrow. In fact, I'm so excited with these pictures because they are some of the clearest elementals that I've ever seen, and I feel it's a big middle finger up to the fact that this was the biggest hoax when there is so much going on here. But we can see her. Oh my God, there's just too many. I don't know if you can see that. Is this coming across well? I don't think so. Or maybe it is. Sometimes it's the strangest ones that come across well. This literally here, right here. You can see the face of a female here, the eye there, the nose there, the mouth there. You can see that. Isolate it. I always train people to isolate. Train your eye. Focus on the face that I'm showing you and don't look at anything else. All right? It almost looks the way that you might look at something through squinted eyes, but you can come on. Look. Sometimes it actually works better like that. There's something about it coming through the medium of the camera that it changes it, and it kind of makes it look a bit different. But I'll be putting those images in there of her. I don't know if anybody was going to see this, but like we've got this bit here to me looks like a male little gnome character, all right, very faded out, but with a little hat. Maybe you could see the face. Maybe it does look, you know, it's funny on camera, it really does look different. Like I can see it quite clearly here. That's the face, little hat looking thing there. This is the body. Now the interesting thing is you might be like, that's not a body, those are twigs. Half the time they blend in with the twigs, sometimes they are the twigs. All right, I've got other photos somewhere. There's this leaf man and it's amazing, and I can never find it. I always lose it every 5 years or something. Maybe not 5 years. But we can see the images I'm going to put in here of that, okay? So we can see that there. Okay, and now let's come to the last image, one of the last images, which I was going to show another one, but I really don't think that people are going to see it, so I don't think I can really show that one. I don't know, can you see this? Probably not. The last one actually had me like, oh hell, okay, because this is brine fruit. Like I was like, what? This is right at the top of that photograph, or right, the sun bower, as they say. So I'll put an arrow into here to show you what it's above. This is fascinating. Check this out, guys, like, because, oh my God. I'm gonna put it in here first. I don't even know if you can see it. This here, right here, right? Oh, I love it on here, Lucy. Can you see that eye? It's amber. Look at this. It's almost like a dragon's eye. Look at that. That is our whole, listen, look at that. You can see the nose, like for real, for real. I mean, the mouth is downward turned. This is one of the beings that it's like, this clearly doesn't look very human. To me, it looks exactly like, it's funny, the cartoon ants, yeah? The Disney or the Pixar, the way that they looked. This is what I'm seeing. Brian Froud also, or Froud, did an image of this, but look at that. Can you, that's a whole eye. Look at the eye. You can't tell me. You can't tell me. Look at that. The other eye is here. Look at that. This was in that photograph. Now, what kind of double exposure could create that? At a different angle. Beautiful amber eye. You can see the downward turn mouth. Very cute. I put it in multiple different lighting scenarios. It's so cool how it comes out looking when I... There. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. In the Cottingley Fairies photos, man. The Cottingley Fairy photo, the 5th photo, the sunbower. This is what is in the back. This is what is in the back. Can't tell me about double exposure. Let me put it at a different angle. Do you see that? Do you see it? This is the thing. These are the interesting things that Brian Froud has drawn. Makes you think, what was he seeing? Right? Look at this that he's done with the amber eyes. Right? Because what is that? Let me go back to the lady. Since I did that, maybe I want to go in with the eyes again. Now that we're zooming in, let me zoom in here. Look at that. Look at that. Come on. This is picking it up well. Look at the eye. You can see her mouth. Here. Well, the nose is somewhere here. Look. Double exposure, guys. Are we saying double exposure? Because look at that. You can see what I mean about her eye shape. About that like little teardrop bit here. And then it goes quite up. Now let me go to the final one because this is only supposed to be a short video, but we've got Mr. here. I don't know whether this is showing very well. This is the one. So the being that had the amber eye, when I flipped that photo upside down, that's when I saw what can be described as the man. Might not be showing up very well here, but I'll be putting the images in here. But it's a whole, like, this is like, makes me think, oh my god, of the human spirit, because this is a whole man's face. It's a whole man's face, like a full-size face right here. It looks very human to me. And this is the interesting thing, because sometimes they often can. But I just wanted to show those videos. I didn't want this video to be too long. I just wanted to show the images. And if I see any more, if you enjoy this type of video, I would happily like continue on the Cottingley case. I want to check the other pictures, but for now, that's what we've got. I might do a few more pictures after this last bit. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.